Hi everyone. So I wanted to do my reflection on the readings for today. I went to church and came back, and I've spent a lot of time today focusing on my GoFundMe and putting together a message that I hope will help me to get some sponsors and get some money coming in, because it's going to be almost a year that I'm going to be out of work now. And it's a frightening situation for me and many others. But before I asked, I helped. I did a lot. I helped a lot of organizations and institutions. I was part of a lot of events. So I'm reaching out with my GoFundMe asking for help. And I'm continuing to help where I can as well. The readings today were on the third week of Advent. And they are readings which are encouraging us to find joy in the Lord. So the gospel today, it focuses on St. John the Baptist asking, through a message, to ask Jesus, is he the one that we were waiting for? And Jesus sends back the message to say, tell John that the blind can see, the deaf can hear. Tell him about the healings, tell him about what's happening. So when those types of things are happening, that means there's hope, because people haven't given up hope. When people give up hope, you might hear them saying things like, well, we're all going to die anyway. Or, well, what's the point of looking for a job? What's the point of making one donation? What's the point of going to church one Sunday? There's no point, because in the end we're all going to die, isn't it? So just give up. And that's the difference between having a Christian hope and having a joy that comes in the Lord. It didn't mean that John the Baptist's life was saved in the end, because he was speaking to the sin in society. He was speaking to what was being done that was wrong in marriage, in adultery, in situations in life. And believe you me when I say that these people were not poor. John the Baptist's family was not poor. To wear a camel garment and go out is somebody who comes from a reasonably well-off society. He was not somebody that had parents who were living in a cave somewhere, or ostracized because they had diseases that were incurable. He was somebody that was well known and respected and respectable. And the readings today encourage us to find that joy in the Lord, to find that strength, to find that hope, to be people who carry on helping the deaf to hear, the blind to see, who carry on making society better. And many of us are disgusted with the Global Fund, because they are supporting bringing in prostitution, sex work. For how many years did men and women fight against that, and fight so that we could get education, we could get skills, we could get training, and go into proper jobs? But the circumstances that the banks and that institutions have created, not just in Canada, but around the world, are that many of us are caught up in jobs that last 3 to 6 months, and then we let go. So we don't have any basic platform for healthcare, we don't have dental, we don't have any kind of basic safety net. Many places in Europe will have a basic income that allows people who cannot get work to stay at home, and that will provide for their rent and their food and things like that. But many of us don't have that, and we have not had that for our whole lives. And no matter what we do, no matter how we train, no matter how we upgrade our skills, no matter what we do to help our communities, to help new people integrate into Canada, we mentor others, we guide others, we help in our churches, we visit hospitals, we volunteer, we don't get that break. So it's a very horrible situation that is being created in the world, and it's getting worse and worse because people want to have a society where everybody's rights are equal and everybody's rights are respected. Well, it's not working, is it? Is it working? Is our crime going down? Is our drug problems going down? Is prostitution going down? Or is it only for those people? It's only for Belinda. Belinda can become a sex worker. Belinda can be friends with her manager at work who earns 10 times what she earns. Belinda can go out and do the volunteering and not get paid anything, not even get a stipend towards it. It's okay for Belinda, but it's not okay for the married people. And it's not okay for the people who have children. So think about what type of society we are creating. Those of us who go to church to be strengthened, to be close to the Lord, to find that hope, that active hope which is coming about through actions, through us doing things to help ourselves and to help each other. I didn't think when I came to Canada that my whole life would be caught up in short-term sporadic work, 3 to 6 months. Oh, but there's a possibility the contract could become permanent, but it never does. And that's why many people are leaving Canada to go to America, because they've created the system in here to work like this. And the bankers are creating a system where they know they should have had the safeguards in place to stop the drug cartels, to stop the money laundering, but they're going to retire with their millions, all the executive, and us, their executive assistants, the ones who supported them, the ones who helped them, the ones who protected them, the ones who gave them advice. If we land up living on the street, or we land up broke, or we land up not having good paid jobs, well, that's tough luck to them, isn't it? Because they don't have the same values that we have. And if you take that Christianity into the banks, they don't want to hear about it. But it came out of a Christian concept. And that's why all of this is happening now. Because who's getting the rewards? Who's getting to host the FIFA World Cup and to host the big games and the big centers? It's all the Muslim countries. And the Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, all these places are calling them out on it, but they don't care. They're celebrating it. You know why? Because the banks and all these big companies are supporting them. And until the banks and all the big companies stop doing it, nothing's going to change. Because people like us are speaking out, we're using our voices, the church is helping where it can, but it takes everyone. It takes the corporations as well. Why do you think the Vatican is bankrupt now? Because they spoke out. And people are going to continue speaking out until it's your daughter or your son that all these people are saying, oh, we want models, and then taking them, raping them, doing what they did to them at Harrods. Until it's your family, you'll not know the pain of how deep it hurts. And you'll not understand. I've been going through this since I was a child. The inappropriate touching, the inappropriate, oh, we want to be friends. And it's not just cultural. These things are happening across the world. And it's happening here in Canada. So that hope about Christ sending the message that it's in the action that we change the world, it's still relevant for us today. And if you want, you can go online, you can find the readings. I have my missal that I read at home, and I go to the church, I do my own reflection. But it doesn't mean that the suffering doesn't go away, but it also doesn't mean that we give up hope. And the second reading was from James 5, 7 to 10. Psalm was 145. And the first reading was Isaiah 35, 1 to 6. And it's a beautiful image, like the crocus shall blossom abundantly. Strengthen the weak hands, make firm the feeble knees. Say to those who are of a fearful heart, be strong, do not fear. Here is your God. He will come with a vengeance, with a terrible recompense. And he will come to save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, the ears of the deaf unstopped. Then the lame shall leap like a deer, and the tongue of the mute sing for joy. So if you look at that reading and you see how Christ confirms it in the Gospel of Matthew 2 to 11, that's the confirmation John was waiting for. And they were well versed in their scriptures. They knew their scriptures. They taught in the temples. So they were not poor people, not by any means. They lived in nice homes. They entertained, they had guests, they visited friends just like you and I. They went out on tours doing their ministry just like you and I give retreats today. It's not that far-fetched. And I haven't told enough people. I wish I could tell more people. I wish I could get more interviews like the one that the CBC gave me. I wish I could get interviews on BBC, The Guardian, Irish TV, Sirius XM. I wish I could get such an explosive message that all the dreams of St. Therese of Lisieux would come true. And I would preach the gospel on all the continents, all the four corners of the world. I haven't told enough people. I'm going to continue telling my story and continue helping to develop Christian leaders. And the more people that join us in our values, the better. Because until it's your daughter and your son that's facing a beheading, that's gone on a trip and that gets put into jail in China or accused of carrying drugs when they've had nothing, you won't know what it feels like. I know what it feels like because when I came back from England on one of my trips, I had a jewelry case that my sister had given me. And I told them I don't want to take it. They said, no, you must take it. You have to take it. I put it in my suitcase, and the next thing that the authorities called me in and they said, what's in this bag? It looks like a bomb. I said, no, it's a jewelry case. It's just a solid silver jewelry case. So I had to open the bag and show it. But thank God, there were other people there. Lots of people have things planted on them, and innocent people get killed. So that's the hope that Jesus is talking about. The suffering is always in the world, but we keep our hope. And today we have the beautiful vestments, the rose-colored vestments. I like those. That's my favorite. My 21st dress was that color. So I hope that helps you. The schedules are out for the Mass, for the readings. You can find it on our Blessed Sacrament Parish site. And that's what I found in the readings today. That's what I found encouraging. I'm still trying to find sponsors for my speaking. I'm still trying to get the donations, and I'm still looking for work. And if people can support me in ending this promotion of prostitution and sex workers, I would appreciate it, because now it's happening to the men as well as the women. And it's definitely not the world I want.